Hi, Zizaran here with another video, and this is going to be about this league. Is this the best patch of all time? Retention is absolutely off the chart, and it's no secret that I've been absolutely no-lifing the league. I've generally been streaming anywhere between 13 to 18 hours a day and still playing another 4 or 5 hours off stream. So right now, just my hours streamed is 306 hours, and like I said, I've been playing quite a lot off stream and just chilling while talking on Discord to steelmates, etc. Ever since after Calandra, I've been like increasingly happy with especially the base state of the game. As a quick TLDR, my favorite league for such a long time was Synthesis, right? That was like 2018, I believe, and all the way until Sentinel, I didn't have a new favorite league, followed by Sanctum, which was again my favorite league. So, you know, things that, at least from how I feel, have been improving rapidly with Path of Exile, because that was like, what, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years I went without getting a new favorite league. I was like, yeah, this league was good, but, you know, Synthesis was amazing. Really been enjoying it. Hopefully that reflects in my content. And, you know, I remember, especially during leagues like Delirium and Blight, and also Calandra, people were like, Ziz, you're really negative. And I'm like, well, not having fun. Regardless of the leagues themselves, like I know not everybody loves Tota right now, just the base state of the game is just so exceptional right now. And if you look at a lot of my old feedback videos or wish list videos, so many of the things that I wished for, and I'm like, I hope they put this in the game or do more of this in the game, has really been like happening. So that's definitely a good reason for me to feel really happy. Like, I think it was a bit before Scourge, I was like, I really want more chase items. But now, with the way the base game state is at right now, there's so many cool things that can drop. And they've been pretty good at adding cool, interesting uniques with leagues. And on top of that, we have alternative endgames now. Very pleased with how things are going right now. But all of this is not without downsides, of course, so let's get them out of the way. So obviously, a thing that was very sad for a lot of people was the league starting meta is stale. And for a lot of people, the league starter becomes a huge part of their entire league, right? Pretty much every league we've had lately, the endgame meta hasn't been entirely the same, right? Things like tattoos or the skill trees from Crucible, they do change the second, third, fifth, whatever build you're playing, but our starter builds have been very similar for a long while now. So that's very sad for a lot of people. Melee is not in the greatest spot right now. It's like, you know, it has a few things it's really good at, like maybe Bone Shatter's amazing at racing. We do have Glacial Hammer this league, which is incredibly strong, so at least it's, you know, the added trauma support did a lot there for Melee, but Melee just have this inherent disadvantage that is hard to fix. Performance and servers are a little bit like up and down every league. I would say that performance in the last 3 years have been absolutely stellar compared to the 4 years before that. Even on top-end PCs, you would literally have between 5 and 15 FPS in some maps. We were plagued by things like rain and Fireground, just making the game unplayable. And I can't remember, it was Abyss or something, where the game was so bad that I had to play in predictive mode to get over 25 FPS. Performance for me this league has been really good, but this time it's the servers that have been really bad. I've been very often seeing like huge ping spikes and going like, man, everybody else lying on London right now, and loads of people in my chat like, yeah, London's bricked again. Okay, let's try Milan, and people are like, Milan's bad too. But yeah, generally just very excited about Path of Exile's base game right now. I feel like I had a period wherever it was like Heist and Expedition. There was like 3 leagues in a row that I just really didn't like. You know, it does tilt me a little bit, because sometimes when I say I really like a league, there's always some guy going, every league is your favorite. What about like Blight, Heist, Expedition, Calandra, and all the leagues that I really hated and stopped playing pretty quick? Try to be pretty fair. I also try to like refrain from judging a league too early, because if you do like Path of Exile, I feel like every league you're really excited at the start. Even Calandra, hard one, but you know, still like the first 100 hours of Calandra, I was like, well, it's a new league. Yeah, Calandra was rough. But let's talk about what makes this patch so good. Like, why is the game in such a good state right now? The Atlas tree, oh my god, I could gush on about this. I won't, but it's just so good. Like, they've made it it's so greatly designed, in my opinion, because you're always missing out on something. You have to constantly respec it. I saw several people, including my editor, Skryia, was saying, man, I wish I could switch between different trees. I don't mind having a template, but it should absolutely have a cost to it. Like, it shouldn't be an obvious choice. You should always be missing out on things. Like, if I'm speccing into an Ascendancy And the choice is like, yeah, of course I'm taking this ascendancy. I don't even need any more points because this is the only 4 nodes I need, then that ascendancy is bad, right? The more hard choices you have, whenever you always feel like, what am I going to be doing? Like, okay, I'm going to be doing bosses. I really want that node, but that node looks so good as well. And that's how the Atlas tree feels. Every time I'm like, okay, well, I'll farm this for a bit, but then I'll spec into the other stuff because I really want that too. But I really love what they've done with it. We have so much choice over what we do, right? There's so much player agency. And you can tell people, literally spec into what you want, what you enjoy doing. There's nothing wrong here. And when you look at an Atlas heat map, you can see that almost every single zone gets used, right? We have destructive play now, that whole new boss rushing angle, and it makes witnessing both Elder, Shaper, and Conquerors so much more valuable than it was before, and you get to fight a lot more bosses. The 7th gate opening literally every league mechanic is just, it's just so good. And yeah, Uber bossing and altar farming is still really powerful. So we have so many choices for how do you want to approach the game right now. And especially for Trade League, this just balances itself out really well right now. We see right now, a lot of people are farming Sanctum. A lot of people are farming Tota. And very many people have chosen not to map this thing. And that is so reflected in the economy that Ashes have been selling for a mirror in hardcore trade. But like, it's really reflected in the price that, you know, if you're mapping right now, if you're spamming Essence, you're making anywhere between 5 and 10 divines an hour. If you're spamming Eater, literally just rushing and opening the blue poof to progress your Eater, you're making, you know, crazy amounts per hour too. And you know, there's so many things that are worthwhile farming. And I love that about Path of Exile, that the economy balances around, well, you don't want to do that? Well, you're going to have to pay more for it. Sanctum, my favorite league of all time, being back does make the league a lot better. Now, I will say I really do miss the Sanctified Relics, but I absolutely understand the need for borrowed power in an ARPG. I think it's a really smart way to approach that. You're just moving the power creep around, like maybe adding a little bit, subtracting a little bit, but keeping it not too crazy so that we're not, you know, one-shotting everything on a 10C budget. I think that's really cool. I think it's really smart. However, tattoos, I've never hoped for something to go core so much. I think it's a very easy way to nerf it, where it makes sense in the core game too, of limiting it. Even as little as 5 tattoos would still be very impactful. I know that sounds very little, but getting an extra 10% suppression instead of 50 dex on the tree is huge for any build, right? A little bit of extra projectile speed. But no matter what the number they nerf it to, which I very much doubt if it goes core, that it's going to be like, yeah, you could have 50 still. Core. And probably not the keystone, something like that. But yeah, I would love to see this go core. Now, I have changed my opinion on things going core. I don't think any league should instantaneously go core. I think they should always take a step back, remove it for one league, really sit on it and think, how does this fit into the core game? I still want Recombinators back though. Gearing as well is in a pretty good state. There's been a lot of new builds. We're seeing more broken builds than ever pop up, and I think it's really healthy that a lot of them aren't like super easy to maintain or get to. I think that was a bit of a bad thing with Crucible. It's fine for a league, but the totem build being literally like, oh yeah, this is like 5C and does dot cap damage to Ubers, that's maybe a little crazy and not healthy for the base state of the game. It's not something I would like to see every patch, right? Like generally a build is more fun when it takes more than 5C, and when you're explaining the build, it's like, yeah, I do this mechanic and this works like that. And I always love seeing what like Jung and people are cooking up build wise. But yeah, gearing has been in a really good state right now. Pretty good balance between like league starters and getting to relatively good power, and then still having a goal to like chase and obtain. So very fun there. Uniques and rare items as well is in a great spot. We have new additions like Utula's Hunger, Replica Dragon Fang by Playlife. Absolutely really cool amulet. I really wanted to design something like that for Uber Elder, but they obviously didn't let me because Watcher's Eye exists and they don't want multiple bosses to have things like that. But that's the new +3 amulet. Really cool. I've been gambling a lot on that by divining it. You can 3-to-1 them as well if they're cheaper. Usually they're not. And then the comeback of Eternal Damnation. It is maybe a little bit too strong, but it is very fun in the game. And again, like back to tattoos, it just allows for so much more fun gearing. I love them. I love them. There's not that much I would change right now in current Path of Exile, like as a wish list type thing. There's a few things that would be like kind of dreamy for me. Like I would love Recombinators back. What I really liked about them, and they were a little too OP, maybe have 2 different Recombinators, like a weak one that nearly always destroys the item, but at least like, you know, you can chuck some things in and like, wow, it actually transferred the mod. And then you could have a stronger one that is quite rare, like maybe half as, like maybe the same rarity as finding an annulment orb. It actually seems to be like half the drop rate of a divine when you're not farming Harbinger. They're very rare. Um, but yeah, like a normal one or even slightly weaker than what we had. But I think being able to salvage like random ass gear at a small chance and destroying gear, I think is really healthy for the game. But you know, I could understand why they wouldn't want to bring that in. I would love some form of comeback of the actual Scourge mechanic. I think Scourge has been the best. I want to be very careful how I say this. I think Scourge has been the best league mechanic we've ever had, technically or mechanically. Now, I'm not talking about the reward and what you got from doing Scourge, just the way you interact with it. When I said this yesterday on stream, people were like, I hate the backtracking. And I was like, no backtracking in Scourge? How were you doing Scourge? Scourge was basically just doubling your map size. There was literally 0 backtracking unless you were playing Scourge wrong. So that was a little confusing to me, but the rewards were dog shit during Scourge, at least for hardcore. Like the crangling thing that I really wanted to be good, that was not very good. I do think Tota is a good addition to the game. A lot of people are tagging me and post on Reddit like, hey, Zizaran, do you not think this trivializes leveling on hardcore? Shouldn't it be difficult? And I'm like, you want to level in Tota? Like, I even posted a tweet at least, or because I tried Tota early, right? That was a mistake. I tried Tota at level 10 and I ended up getting stuck, and I think it was like 15-30 minutes in one round because I didn't have much damage early and it wasn't really scaled. That being said, I love Tota now for the game. It's not my favorite to play myself, but I think having an alternative like that, and it's really chill and cool to have something that is safe content on hardcore. RuneScape has made me appreciate that a lot more, because RuneScape hardcore is so easy if you want it to be. There's so many things you can do that is completely safe in RuneScape hardcore, right? So if you are on your phone, obviously we don't have that option for PoE, but like if you're chilling and you just want to do some wood chopping, you can do that. There's not really much of a PoE equivalent until we got Tota. And it is so little XP per hour. If you're leveling in Tota, like you deserve those levels. I also think the rewards are like a really, really fun slot machine that is just really interesting. Like you can really get anything from Tota. I think the reward system is really good. I think it's good that they have like, if you die once per Tota, so like generally at the end you can reroll your reward once. And yeah, it's a very interesting approach. I do wish maybe we couldn't play our own character, but obviously that might not make sense for TFT or for PoE. It would be more like TFT. But yeah, still very interesting choice. So now that it's been a little bit in and I've been having a lot of fun with the league, I think I will rate the league. I think it's my second favorite league of all time. I don't think it beats out Sentinel for me. I really loved that Soulbound Sanctified Relics. I think that was such a like cool thing in the game. So I think it is my second favorite. Obviously, Sanctum is back in this league too, but we still don't have those Sanctified Relics. So again, the main things I would want would be some form of Soulbound thing is really fun that you will find and like, oh, I'll do a build around this. I can't give it to anyone else. I want to use it. I think that was really interesting to have. And then Recombinators coming back would be really cool. But yeah, I think second favorite league. It might be my favorite patch. I am having a blast, right? But I played so much in Sentinel too. What I do during the league matters a lot for that too, right? I remember I had a really boring hardcore trade league one time and had an unfortunate death that just set me back a lot. So like, you know, what you drop and how much fun you're having does impact how you feel about the league. And in Sentinel, I played Bro SF with Steel, and that was such a fun experience. I really want to do that again sometime. This league, I've been playing hardcore trade, and it's been such a fun experience. I really love the hardcore trade community. I saw a few people in trade chat were saying, thank fuck streamers are playing. It's been so fun and it really impacts the economy. Then I also saw some other people going like, I wish streamers weren't playing. They affect the economy. So a little bit plus and minus, but hopefully more people like it than dislike it. I've been having so much fun. And I love that Trade 1 in hardcore is like a fun community. It's not just about items, which probably should be, but I like that it isn't. All in all, I think I give this league a 9 out of 10. Same rating as Sanctum. Keep mixing Sentinel and Sanctum. Same as Sanctum. I think Sanctum's a 9 as well. Yeah. I never give a league a 10. Maybe one day it'll be a 10. Anyway, I hope you guys have been enjoying the league half as much as I have, at least. Yeah, I'm always expecting those just shill comments whenever I am really happy about the league, because I feel like I'm very happy when I'm happy about the league. But, you know, I do feel like I do a good job of being very critical when I don't like the league. And I think it's very obvious to see on my face when I don't like a league. So, you know, let me know what you think. What you think of this patch. And again, just blown away by the retention. I'm glad you guys seem to be enjoying it. So, thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.